Hello students, welcome back to my channel. My name is Jagdeep. In this video series, we are learning about the theory of supply. In our previous video, we talked about why the supply curve slopes upwards. In this video, we shall focus on the exceptions to the law of supply. Now, for all those students who are coming on this video for the first time and haven't seen or learned what law of supply is, please check that video first before learning the exceptions, because exceptions are basically the opposite of law and the situations where the law doesn't work. So it's important that you understand what the law is before you begin to study the exceptions. Alright students, without wasting any time further, let's get started. So before beginning with what the exception is, let's quickly recap what the law was. So the law says ceteris paribus. Okay, let me just erase this first. Yeah, so the law says ceteris paribus, as the price of the commodity increases, its quantity that is offered for sale, that is supply, also increases, establishing a direct or a positive relation between them. Now, when we talk about exceptions, these are the situations where this relationship does not work, or we should say that this relationship is violated. So let us take a look at what are the scenarios. So the first scenario here is agricultural goods. Now I certainly hope I don't have to explain what agricultural goods are. We know and we should be knowing what agricultural goods are. Now, agricultural goods or basically the activities in the primary sector of the country are dependent to a great extent on the natural conditions. And by natural conditions, we mean by the climate, by the soil, by the availability of water, so on and so forth. Now, there are two possibilities here, right? Natural conditions could be good and favorable, or bad or unfavorable. If they are good, you may have a very good harvest. And if they are bad, the harvest may not be as good. Now, why are we studying this, right? We just studied that the law of supply relates price with the quantity supplied. Now, as a farmer, if your harvest is good, but prices in the market offered for this harvest is low, can you hold on to this harvest? Can you say, oh, let me just wait it out till the prices go up and then I will sell in the market? Majority of times, the answer to this question would be no, because these goods are not that long lasting. That means even at low prices, you may have to sell more. And by doing so, we have just violated the law. The law said we need to have a positive relationship, but this relationship is clearly negative. The opposite side of the argument may also hold true. If the harvest is bad and the prices are high, there is no way you could just magically bring in these commodities, because it takes time for agricultural goods to grow in the farms, right? So even at high prices, you will not be able to offer more for sale, once again violating the law, because this is an indirect relationship, whereas the law of supply stresses on the direct relationship. So agricultural goods are the first exception case to the law of supply. The next one is rare goods or rare articles. Now, these rare articles could be maybe rare coins, right? People have habits of collecting coins, stamps, antiques, rare paintings, or you could say paintings of very renowned artists who do not exist now. So, these articles are very limited in supply, right? That means even at higher prices, their quantities cannot be raised. They'll still be in low availability. The law here is again violated because this is clearly a negative relationship. So it is beyond the scope of the law of supply, and hence rare articles is another exception to this law. Another exceptionary case is backward countries. Backward, or as we can say, low income countries. Now, how could they violate the law of supply, right? Everybody must be thinking. So, these countries that are economically backward or low income countries, they may not have enough resources to produce. They may lack production resources. What does that implicate? So since they lack production resources, even when the price in the markets go up, they may not be able to make changes. They may not be able to increase the quantity supplied. So rise in the quantity supplied is not possible. But the law says when price goes up, quantity supplied has to increase. And since it is not possible here, this also is an exceptionary case. Since we were discussing countries, it just struck me that I'm also currently working with amazing students from all over the world, such as the US, Australia, Singapore and the Middle East. And it gives me such joy to see how these students connect with economics, especially when it is explained in a simple and in a relatable manner. My personal online sessions are much more interactive because you get a chance to ask your questions, discuss and practice, and truly understand the concepts in a much easier manner. So if you feel like studying with me personally in a one-on-one session or in small groups, feel free to DM me on the number given on the screen. Let's continue with the next scenario. The next scenario is perishable goods. What do we mean by perishable goods? So I don't have to explain them. However, I don't mind supplementing you with an example or so. So perishable goods could be in form of milk, vegetables, fruits, and I'm sure these are enough for you to get an idea of what perishable goods could be. Now, when we talk about perishable goods, they don't have a shelf life, right? So their shelf life is short, meaning the seller cannot hold on to the inventories with an expectations of prices to rise in the future. Can you do that with milk? I'm certain we can't, because milk is highly perishable and it gets spoiled even if it is left outside the fridge for 2 hours. So holding on the inventories is not possible. That means even at low prices, this seller will have to offer more for sale, and if they do that, which they obviously have to do, otherwise they go penniless since they can't sell these things if they go bad in quality, they end up violating the law. The law says direct relationship, but this is clearly an indirect relationship. The next scenario is emergencies or need for cash. As a seller, if they are caught in an emergency situation, will they wait for prices to go up and then sell to get the money flowing in? I don't think so that'll be possible. Any sane and rational thinking seller would never do that, right? So waiting for prices to go up is not possible, and hence might have to sell even when the prices are low, clearly violating the law once again. And finally, we have future expectations of prices. Now, what do we mean by future expectations? So, future expectations means how the prices are going to move in the future. If we are expecting the future price to go up, that means a seller will be able to maximize his profits in the future. Now, if they're expecting the prices to go up in the future, they would reduce the supply presently. So the current supply would go down. And in this entire decision making, the seller may have completely foregone the fact that at present the prices may not be that low. So this behavior would clearly contradict with the rational behavior of sellers. So these are the various scenarios for exceptions to the law of supply. Students, if you find my videos useful, please do like, share and subscribe my videos. If you find learning through long videos daunting, you could follow me over my Instagram channel and learn the same concepts in a smaller duration. I shall meet you in another video. Until then, bye now. Take care.